assemble and part again, but not from the power of nature, but the brute force of America's most powerful production sedans, the combatants in SCCA's Trans Am series. This is Sonoma, California, about 50 miles to the north of San Francisco in the heart of wine country. It is the site of SCCA's second Trans Am race of this season and the first broadcast by the Prime Network of this important series in 1990. Hi, everybody. I'm Larry Nuber, your host for the Big City Trans Am concert tour here this summer. Before it's all over, we'll visit Detroit, Denver, Dallas, St. Petersburg, just to name a few. Now, today, we are near the city. That's a nickname for San Francisco. Here for the call of the race, the play-by-play is Gary Lee and Bill Adam.
SCCA Trans Am Racing represents the American muscle car. And, Bill, I have to believe these race fans can really identify with these race cars out here this afternoon.
I think they do identify because these cars are the closest thing they have to what they drive to the track. They look like what they've driven. The Mustangs, the same shape, the Berettas, the same shape, and the Oldsmobiles. So they cheer for their own product.
Well, this, of course, is the 25th anniversary season for the SCCA Trans Am Series. The defending champion is Dorsey Schroeder. He was really an inspiration for all the drivers that have struggled in their careers. He was really a people's champion last year.
Well, I think the Walter Mitty story, you always hoped for the little guy, and Dorsey did finally come through, that he drove his own cars for a number of years and even was a driving instructor with one of the local driving schools and finally made it. Roush Racing gave him a chance, and boy, did he perform for them.
But now he has so many commitments, he could not qualify yesterday. He is forced to start at the back of the pack, and earlier we had a chance to talk to Dorsey Schroeder.
I had to take a cab to get this far back. I can't even see the front from here. We got to, just bide our time and stay out of trouble. The turn one thing's always bad. Even up in the front, it's not bad. But being way back here, you can be the recipient of somebody else's problem, and we don't want that to have a bearing on how we do. So I'll sit back and watch for a while and just take my time. It's a Sunday. I do a Sunday drive.
And we'll keep an eye on Dorsey Schroeder as he attempts to make his way through traffic this afternoon. Starting on the pole is Darrin Brassfield, and he is standing by with our pit reporter, racing commentator and journalist, Bob Baker.
Darrin, what are you going to look for the first lap this afternoon?
Well, it's Sears Point's always been a tough track, and we're going to look to just keep the car in a straight line and hopefully save the tires. And we'll see what Tommy wants to do early on. If he wants to play jackrabbit, maybe I'll let him go, and if my car's not working so good early. But I'd like to lead the whole thing again like last year.
And we'll ride along with Darrin Brassfield because he has the in-car camera. We'll come back with the starting lineup for today's Trans Am race from Sears Point after this.
That Irv Hoerr is some guy. After years of touting Plasticoat, now he's happy to share the spotlight with me. Irv's a real professional. He taught me everything he knows. How well Plasticoat covers, how long it lasts, the huge variety, the high quality. There isn't a thing that he left out. I really like this idea of sharing the spotlight. How about you, Irv?
What sport best defines the word action? Where do these men of action go for news of their sport?
There's only one place I go for my auto racing news, my On Track, of course.
On Track is auto racing's news magazine. Only On Track has the answers when it comes to auto racing. Order 25 action-filled issues now for just $19.95, a more than 30% savings. Call this number now and get On Track.
Do you have bad credit or have trouble establishing credit? Have you been turned down for credit cards before? Now you can solve your credit problems with a secured Visa or MasterCard. If you've had problems getting a credit card because of poor credit history, bankruptcy, or no established credit, this is the opportunity for you to receive your own Visa or MasterCard. Join the tens of thousands of other people who improved and established their credit rating. Call the 900 number on your screen, $6 for the call. It's a small price to pay for the opportunity to rebuild your credit. Just pick up the phone and call for your free information and application packet. Be a part of the masses who are making their way back to the world of good credit. Visa and MasterCard mean respectability. Nearly everyone is accepted. Don't be left out. Call the number on your screen now. and find out how you too can be on your way to having your own Visa or MasterCard. Do it now.
Welcome back to the wine country of Northern California near Sonoma at Sears Point Racetrack. This is the second stop on the 1990 season for the SCCA Trans Am. 40 cars to start today's race. Starting in the front row in the number 5 Cutlass Supreme from Los Gatos, California, Darrin Brassfield. And outside in the 01 Beretta, Tommy Kendall. In the second row on the inside, car number 7, a Cutlass Supreme of Paul Gentilozzi. And outside the runner-up in Trans Am competition last season, Irv Hoerr, number 15, another Cutlass Supreme. On the third row on the inside, Max Jones, a veteran from Long Beach, California, in a Mustang number 2. Outside the number 33, Cutlass of Scott Sharp. In the fourth row inside, car number 3, Chris Kniefel out of Illinois in a Beretta. And flanking him, Tom Gloy, a former Trans Am champion, car 63, the Gloy Sports Beretta. In the fifth row, a couple of real veterans in Camaros. On the inside, number 8, Les Lindley out of Anaheim, California. And outside, the Bear from Marietta, Georgia, Jack Baldwin. The course is a challenging 2.5-mile, 12-turn outing, perhaps the most challenging course these drivers will face all season.
This really is just an incredible track, much different than any other they'll run across this year, and probably is the most difficult of all. Very, very high-speed track. The turn 1 area that you're looking at here is an area approached approximately 140 miles an hour. Very fast. The cars have to sweep uphill in through 1A, and it's tight turn 2. Now, this is a right-hander where you're dropping 2 gears down to probably 80 miles an hour, and you really have to feed power on carefully, not getting too sideways. Turn 3 again, you've only got time for a little burst of throttle there before you're hard on the brakes and into an uphill turn 3. This is a left-hander. Feeds immediately into turn 3A. It's almost like one long corner, but very tricky because of elevation changes. This in turn leads down to a downhill turn 4, very tight. Once again, gravity's taking over, forcing the car to the outside. Turns 5 and 6, all high-speed stuff, really stretching the car and puts a great deal of pressure on the tires. But that leads us to the best section of the track for passing. Turn 7 is the tightest area, extremely tight, where the cars are down to second gear, and it's quite wide. So passing is a premium and definitely the favorite spot in the track. Out of turn 7 is really what they have as called as a straight, and it's not a straight. Turns 8, 8A, 9, 10 are all high-speed sweepers, and you just have to do it like a skier does a bunch of slalom gates. Everything has to be a rhythm. This leads into the final turn in the track, which is really turn 11. It's a 180-degree tight right-hander, and the problem here is a concrete wall at the exit. You want to make it carefully through that.
It has been a hot, humid weekend here in Northern California, but this Sunday is the most pleasant of the 3 days that they've been on the racetrack. We have clear skies, 85 degrees, low humidity, a light westerly breeze, and no chance of rain. Well, look down here on the warm-up, number 55. That is Bob Sobey, and that is an embarrassing situation to spin on a warm-up lap.
I think his fellow competitor is going to remind him of this gap for the rest of the season. And what it is that when you're on cold racing tires, they actually give less traction. That's right, it's less traction than street tires would give. Even though you've got little skinny street tires in your car, the rubber compound on these tires has to be heated up to give good traction.
Well, there's a look at the front row. We are about to go green. This is that sweeper turn number 11. They go into a slight kink off to the left, and across the start-finish line, Darrin Brassfield will bring them down alongside Tommy Kendall, Cutlass Supreme, and a Beretta. And here comes the green flag. The Trans Am race is underway. And it looks like Kendall got a good jump, and there goes Brassfield to the lead, leading through turn 1 up into turn 2, and about a 2 to 3 car length advantage as they go through the gears and up the incline.
A tremendous battler in the second row. Neither one of the Oldsmobile drivers wanted to give way. And you can see that Gentilozzi has slotted his Budweiser Olds into third place. That's right there in your picture. What he wants to do is try and get by Kendall as quickly as possible and give a bit of a cushion to his teammate, young Brassfield.
Does that mean he's going to run the jam car for his teammate?
Well, I think in a sense he does want to do that, because if he can do that and allow Brassfield to get a bit of a lead, then Darrin can back off a bit and save his tires.
Brassfield in years past has really spread himself thin with some NASCAR racing, some IndyCar racing, but he says this year I am focused on Trans Am only. I'm going after the championship and a new team situation with Brassfield and Gentilozzi.
Oh, and it's really working here. We're watching quite a performance already. Look at Darrin stretching this lead already. Now, all of these cars, remember, are on cold tires, and you really play a bit of a gambling game on these opening laps. How hard do you push? Do you run really hard flat out like Darrin is doing right here, or do you let your tires heat up properly? And Darrin obviously made the right choice. He is pulling away quite significantly from the Kendall Beretta.
Well, of course, these drivers have to start the race in the same compound tire they qualified. In fact, the fastest 5 qualifiers from the session yesterday had their tires impounded. So we're not really sure just how soft the compound is on this car number 5, and if in fact he can go the distance without making a stop for tires.
No, it's a source of concern for all the competitors. And look at that, you get to see how close some of those guys. Oh, and I think Les Lindley just tagged the wall here in the back of his yellow Camaro right there, just leaving the scene. And that's what they don't want to do. You can see them all wiggling as they're trying to get 500 to 600 horsepower down onto the ground. And they don't like to take that in first or second gear.
Darrin Brassfield has opened up that sizable lead right now over Tommy Kendall. Paul Gentilozzi rides in the 3rd position. 4th is Irv Hoerr. And we've heard some drivers talk about how quiet Irv has been this weekend. He was the runner-up in the seasonal championship last year. He qualified 4th fast out of Peoria, Illinois in his Cutlass Supreme. He could be a real factor because he's been so quiet this weekend.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind at all that Irv Hoerr is the dark horse at this track because he has been so quiet. Now, he has 2 things going for him. Number 1, he builds his own chassis. The Hoerr family, Irv and his father, Rudy, design and build that Oldsmobile all by themselves, so they know the car backwards and frontwards. And secondly, he has an extremely smooth driving style, which on a track like this that does torture tires is going to benefit him at the halfway point or the 3/4, even the end point of the race. His car, his tires will still be working very well.
This is a chassis racetrack. High horsepower area in some sections of the track, but basically the chassis has to work.
Yeah, it's very, very critical because of all the elevation changes. The cars going over the tops of hills and breaking up into corners. Right, you can see here an extremely fast corner. You want the car to perform at its best. And the cars like this Beretta that we're watching here, a very sophisticated chassis, a little bit lighter weight, giving away some horsepower to the big engine Roush cars. Now there's Dorsey Schroeder. We just see him charging through the car.
He's already up to 30th. Started dead last. He did not qualify. We've well documented his busy schedule this weekend, but he is up to 30th. And he really told us that he needs a yellow about lap 15 to 20 to have a real shot.
Oh, he's working on emotion right now. He's just come off 2 other races, and he's fired up and ready to go. And a heck of a driver. Dorsey's great fun to watch.
With Darrin Brassfield leading, we'll be right back after these messages.
If you're not recycling, you're throwing it all away.
Wind down the work week with great sports and great action. Friday on Pacific Sports Network.
I wear a lot of beautiful jewelry in front of the camera, but none is more precious than this, my Medical Alert bracelet.
And that's one bracelet she never takes off. And that's smart.
Do you see this Medical Alert symbol? Medical professionals recognize it worldwide.
Now, what if Diane were in an accident, unable to talk? How would anyone know she's allergic to penicillin and codeine?
That kind of information could save my life. With Medical Alert, it's right here.
And Medical Alert has a 24-hour hotline that taps into a computer. So healthcare professionals have access to a person's emergency medical profile.
Medical Alert is important for anyone with an allergy, heart problem, epilepsy, diabetes, or any other medical condition. And Medical Alert is a non-profit foundation, so everyone can afford to join.
And that's a membership for life.
Medical Alert protects your health, and it can save your life. Call 1-800-ID-ALERT today.
Welcome back to Sears Point on Prime Network.
Boy, and Darrin is just running away.
Darrin's dad is also in this event. Jerry driving the family Corvette. That's got to be fun to race against your dad.
Oh,
Or your kid.
Yeah, I'm sure it's got to be fun for Darrin. That I guess he's trying to show, you know, hey, Dad, here is something to be proud of. But it's got to be different for the father. Does he worry about his son going out there and going too fast? Oh, that's, yeah, Jerry Clinton
had a problem there right in front of some more traffic, but he was able to get out of the way and continues on. And now Dorsey Schroeder is up to 16. Now keep in mind, they've gone some 7 laps, and he told us if we can have a yellow about lap 15 or lap 20, I might have a shot.
Oh, he's coming into the pits.
Oh, he's coming in the pits.
Pit lane.
Oh, we didn't anticipate taking a ride with him into the pit area, but let's keep an eye now on this Mustang to see what changes they may have to make. This is under green, and this is unscheduled. We could see no problems in the way of any smoke out there or any perhaps handling characteristics.
No, nothing is showing. And they're pulling in front. Flip off the car. Gonna look at the motor or something on the front suspension.
This will take any shot he has.
Now they're looking down
up to 16th position in his race will be finished.
They're looking down at the inlet that goes right back onto the rad. I would expect that Dorsey maybe has an overheating problem. That's very unusual because of the pleasant temperature today. That's definitely what they're looking at.
Well, no overheating problem here for your leader. That is Darrin Brassfield. The only heat he is feeling is the heat he's putting on the opposition right now as he continues to widen that gap between first and second.
Well, and the pressure that's going to exist now is that Darrin is coming down towards turn 11. That is where the entrance to the pits is, and means that he may put a lap on Dorsey before Dorsey gets out. If that's the case, I'm afraid Dorsey is just out of the picture to win this race. And there we go. There's Dorsey leaving the pits.
I don't think he has enough steam that he can maintain that.
He and Darrin should be almost side by side going up. There's Darrin.
There's Darrin, and no, Dorsey drops a lap down.
Now, what will Dorsey do to try and help his teammate?
Here's Dorsey right here. He hasn't, but he will drop a lap down. Right there, he is a lap down now. Dorsey said he really only had 2 drivers out there that could run with him. He felt Darrin and Tommy Kendall, the 2 fastest qualifiers yesterday, would be able to run with him. But at this point in time, that's if everything is optimum. There's a problem, perhaps overheating with that car. So, well, Dorsey may have a very short afternoon.
I think it is going to be a short afternoon because when he exited turn 2, he kept the car tucked in very tight, not under power at all.
We talked earlier about Darrin moving out to a big lead early and enforcing the car. And here's Robert Lapalinen, who was victorious at Phoenix in the season opener. He's another Jack Roush driver in that black number 4.
Yeah. And Robert had a little bit of a problem right there breaking up into turn 7. You saw the smoke. That wasn't oil out the exhaust. It was just the right front wheel locking up a little bit.
He's right behind Jack Baldwin in the number 28 Camaro. They are battling right now for 10th position. Baldwin is 10th, and Robert Lapalinen is now in the 11th spot.
Jack Baldwin's another guy much in the, look at this, a little bit of sideways as he gets into the dirt. Much in the same mold as Dorsey Schroeder, that he likes to drive a car sideways. And this is the Buzz McCall Skoal Bandit Camaro, always one of the prettiest cars we see. Just a beautiful car, and Jack will drive this car as hard as he can.
Jack will carry a car in Trans Am competition as far as any driver will carry.
He does, and sometimes, well, at Phoenix, he carried it a little too far. He admittedly spun a couple times and was angry at himself and was smiling about it. I think he wants to make up for it today and give the Skoal Bandit crew a good finish.
Well, here's the heartbeat of America against Ford right here, and that's the battle for 10th position. And as Robert has a look to the inside, but no place to go right there as the Bear protects that inside groove.
Well, what he might want to do here, this is coming to turn 6, just up around this corner here and over the crest of the hill. Now, this is a long, very, very fast downhill left-hander, and Robert may try and set Jack up. He'll be on the gas really hard now to try and set up a pass for the braking area at turn 7. Just watch and see if he tries it. Jack's protecting the inside. Robert's going to try the outside. Maybe. I don't think he's going to make it out there.
This right-hander.
This is great racing right here. What Jack did was to hold it sort of the middle of the track, and see what he's doing also is he's making Robert overheat his rear tires. Now remember that Robert, in fact, both these fellas in the picture are using V8 engines. One's a 5-liter Chevrolet, and the black car is a 5-liter Ford.
Now, as a rule of thumb, on a racetrack, the driver worries about the space in front of him. Now, how much of the rear view mirror is he watching? Well, obviously, it's a moot subject right now, but was Jack watching the rear view mirror and trying to outthink what Robert was attempting to do?
Precisely, yes. And sometimes you can work this to your advantage. If you can move your car from side to side and really occupy somebody's mirrors, you'll distract them and you'll take away that 100th percentile of concentration. You can't win a race by driving and concentrating at 90%. You have to do it at 100. And if you can distract somebody, take away a little of that, you're going to go faster than they will.
And there is Dorsey Schroeder back in the pit area, and this could be the end of the day for
I think it will. That's a sad sight. I'm afraid we're all really sorry to see that happen because Dorsey always puts on great displays at driving. There's Tom Gloy. He's a past champion that's making a return to Trans Am racing and trying in one of last year's factory Berettas.
And notice, if you will, there's something missing on his car. A major sponsorship. He's running in 7th position right now in the 63 car, and there's a lot of vacant space on the hood and the side panels of that car.
I think this space for sale.
Bob Baker is caught up with Dorsey Schroeder, who is out of the race.
Can you tell us what happened?
Well, we lost a cylinder, and I looked down, and the thing started running real hot after that. Must have cracked a cylinder head or something. We got about 280 degrees of water temperature, and it's not going to come down, so.
No chance for the rest of the afternoon?
No, we watch.
With Darrin Brassfield leading, we'll be right back after these messages.
To tell you about an exciting new way to follow Winston Cup racing, here's Dale Earnhardt.
No matter how tired I am after a Winston Cup race, I always take time for the Winston Cup outline. No matter whether I win or lose, I'm Victor Lane or I'm talking about what happened, I've got an interesting story to tell. So call Winston Cup Hotline.
10 top drivers every week on Winston Cup Hotline. Call 1-900-446-9287.
And get the news straight from the driver's seat.
Race fans, now you have a chance to fulfill your dream of starting an actual NASCAR race. The Miller Genuine Draft 500, June 17th at the Pocono International Raceway in Pennsylvania. Just by entering the Raceway Sweepstakes, you could be the Grand Marshal for the race. You and a friend will receive an all-expense-paid 4-day trip to the race, and you'll receive $500 in spending money. As Grand Marshal, you'll get a personal tour of the racetrack, including the Winston Cup garage area. And then you get to officially start the race. Are you getting revved up about all this? Good. Here's how to enter.
Hurry and call 1-900-328-2100. Or put your name, address, and phone number on a postcard and mail to the address on your television screen. The deadline for phone calls or a postcard is June 7th. The lucky winner will be selected live on This Week in NASCAR, June 7th. Must be 18 or older, no purchase necessary.
What are you waiting for? Start your own engines and phone in your entry right now.
When you take your seat for the Texaco Havoline Grand Prix of Denver, you'll take a stand against routine boredom, blahs, and humdrum. With 3 days of the greatest party of the year, but you better grab a seat while you still can.
Trans Am racing continues here at Sears Point on Prime Network. Look at this battle right here. There's a good battle between 3 cars. There is the Bud car. That is the Oldsmobile of Gentilozzi, number 7. Right behind him, the number 15 of Irv Hoerr in an Oldsmobile. And there is the Beretta of Chris Kniefel.
Well, I believe that Kniefel is actually starting to make his move here. Now, this is 3rd, 4th, and 5th as we watch. And you'll see in some of the shots, there's a Beretta just a little ways ahead, right there. That's Tommy Kendall, and then Gentilozzi, Irv Hoerr, and Chris Kniefel as in the picture. Kniefel has closed up on these 2 cars. Maybe this is time where he's decided, all right, and here we go.
And there goes Kniefel on the inside. A nice move. He has a look to the inside, cannot make the pass, but he stays there. His momentum carries him out in behind now as he tucks in behind Hoerr, and a gap begins to develop between Gentilozzi and Hoerr. Now, we see in stock car racing, on the high bank tracks, the drivers can draft to their advantage. I don't understand if there's any drafting here. It's not any great advantage to run nose to tail.
No, not at all. On a track this twisty, it doesn't affect you at all. Only on the high-speed circuits will it make any difference at all. And generally, you don't really want to draft too much because you want as much airflow in and around the car as possible to keep it sticking to the ground. These cars run a great deal more aerodynamics than what the NASCAR vehicles do. NASCAR worries about the air that's going over the top and down the sides, and not really too much about what's going under the cars. These cars all have very careful side skirting and front air dams.
As we look at Chris Kniefel in the yellow, black, and white car, you talk about the air going under a car. That was a problem in practice earlier this week. It's a problem car was not handling.
He was mentioning something as simple as the fit of the front bodywork. And look at this, up the inside of Hoerr, and he's got a clean pass. Beautifully done.
Out-braking. That was textbook.
That was really perfect. And now he's got his sights set at Gentilozzi. And I don't think Gentilozzi will stay in front of him for a lap either, because Chris is going very fast right now.
Well, Chris is running the game plan that he talked about earlier. We thought perhaps that he was joking with us, and we would see him make a charge early. It's easier to pass 3 or 4 cars at the start of the race, not let them get to a single file formation.
Yes.
But he kind of laughed and said, no, I'm going to hold back and size things up. That's exactly what he's done. And look at this.
Jack Baldwin on turn 11.
Jack the Bear out of Marietta, Georgia. Once again, did he overdrive it?
Probably getting on the horsepower a little too early, and just you can't get a bite when you're trying to put down.
Maybe he's talking to himself right
now. I'm sure he's saying words that we couldn't repeat on air.
Once again, third, fourth, and fifth right together on the racetrack.
Now watch this and see if Chris sets up Gentilozzi for braking into turn 7. The next corner he gets to. Look at this. He's cutting tight to the inside, and he's trying to get upside. But can the Oldsmobile horsepower pull out? Chris is going to try. Not quite.
Look at this. Almost 3 different lines into this right-hander as Irv Hoerr tucks in behind Chris, and Chris comes off the corner. Takes a look on the outside. Oh, that's no place to pass.
No, he can't do that, but what he's trying to do is to distract Paul, take away his concentration and make him look at the mirror instead of thinking about where he wants to place the Oldsmobile. Chris may try a pass in exactly the same place as what he did to Irv Hoerr at the end of this lap. Here he's got a very high speed right there. Now he gets a run through this corner, and I don't think he's close enough. So now what he has to do is watch his mirror and make sure Hoerr doesn't
look to the inside. Oh, he just gets the nose. Oh, he is on the inside. Look at this.
He can do it. He can do it.
He has done it. He has done it. And Chris Kniefel moves up to second. Now, right now, Darrin Brassfield enjoys a 7.8-second lead over Tommy Kendall. And Tommy's teammate, Chris Kniefel, has moved to third. So let's see now if Chris can pull away from Paul Gentilozzi and Irv Hoerr and close in his teammate.
Well, that is really impressive. The car that Chris is driving, as well as Tom Kendall's, is a brand new Beretta. This is a Bob Riley design, man, who's been around Indy cars and the brains behind Protofab Racing. Riley is just a brilliant designer, has penned this car, they built it, and it's brand new. And this is its first ever race. The car is obviously working very well because he was so far behind Gentilozzi coming into that tight turn 11. I didn't think there was a chance of passing. I'm sure Paul thought that too. But look at Chris pull away.
Is there anything that the teammates, Chris and Tommy, can do at this point if they do get hooked up?
Not really. Sometimes one teammate can maybe inspire the other one. If Tom is driving with a little more relaxed pace than what Chris is running, maybe his ego is going to come up and say, well, geez, I really don't want Chris to pass me, so I'll try that a little bit harder. But they're both running pretty hard at this point. I think Chris is maybe pushing a little harder than Tom is. That car looks very stable right now.
Irv Hoerr now rides in fourth, and fifth is Paul Gentilozzi. So we see some teammates involved in this shootout right now at Sears Point. Running down the top 5, once again, Darrin Brassfield has the lead. Now the margin over Tommy Kendall, only 5 seconds. Chris Kniefel is third. Irv Hoerr rides in fourth. And Paul Gentilozzi is now fifth. Tom Gloy has moved to sixth. Scott Sharp, seventh. Robert Laflenie now in the 8th position. Ninth is Bob Sobey. Max Jones is now 10th. But the gap again down to 5 seconds between first and second as Brassfield continues to negotiate the traffic, and that may be the reason the gap is starting to close. With Darrin Brassfield leading, we'll be right back after these messages.
Distance with professional boxing, coming to you from coast to coast on Pacific Sports Network, an affiliate of Prime Network.
Touchdown, and the Niners have done it again. Yes, they're the team of the 80s, and this is their story. Ronnie Lott's production of the team of the 80s, and here's your starting lineup. At director, Roger Craig. At producer, Ronnie Lott. At audio, Keena Turner. and featuring a cast of thousands, starring Sheena Turner and Roderick Craig.
Fans, this is our video. A personal view of our team, the coaches, and the game. It's a look behind the scenes on and off the field.
Hey, you gotta check it out. The video's called The Team of the 80s.
You're gonna love it.
Here's a real insider's look at the San Francisco 49ers, team of the 80s, winners of 3 Super Bowls in this decade. Hear and see Ronnie's exclusive interviews of Craig, Montana, Rice, and many more Niners stars. Thrill to the winning drive from Super Bowl 23 with your 49ers in a knockdown, fun-filled video. A little sentiment, a little emotion, lots of thrills, and some good laughs, all yours. Here's how to get your copy. To order, use your major credit card and call 1-800-366-1818 or send $14.95 plus $3.50 for tax, shipping, and handling to Ronnie Lott, Department M, 2410 Charleston Road, Mountain View, California, 94043.
Back on Prime Network here at Sears Point, where Darrin Brassfield continues to lead.
Well, this is, it's an interesting situation right now that we talk about incentive for 2 different drivers. Number 1, Darrin Brassfield was leading the race in the number 5.
Oh, he got slowed right there.
He did. He got blocked a little bit. Darrin has got incentive in that this is his home track. He is leading the race. He wants to keep leading. But the fellow who's in second right now, Tom Kendall, as remarkable as it may seem, has never won a Trans Am race. Tom has won all over the place. There's Bob Sobey, another very fast independent.
Yeah, he is in 9th position right now, so a good ride. Maybe this is going to offset that little spin he took in the warm-up session today. He's gotten into somebody and redesigned the left corner of that car, but he was the driver that spun during the warm-up lap.
That's right. And maybe what happened is somebody didn't see a blue flag and Bob come behind him and decided to give him a little nudge and say, excuse me, but I'm here.
Well, he's up to 9th position right now in that number 55 with the customized front end on that car. There is second place. The 0-1 car, Tommy Kendall. He was the second fastest qualifier in Glendale, California. The Olivetti Beretta, and his teammate is tucked in right behind him,
right
Chris Kniefel. Chris always had aspirations to be a professional basketball player. He is by far the tallest driver out here.
Oh, he is.
About 6'7", 6'8", something like that. I don't know how he squeezes all that size into a cockpit. In fact, when he was running Indy cars, they had to build, Primus Racing built him a car just around his large frame. And you'll recall when he was racing some GTP cars, they had to put a bubble in the cockpit to negotiate his helmet.
Well, Chris and I once co-drove a Camaro 2 years ago, walking to the 500 mile event. I was sitting so far back that I couldn't push the clutch to the floor, and I'm 6'1".
Well,
and yet Chris
he has to look to the inside here. Ooh, he got pinched down. He couldn't make the move.
And Chris
slides
obviously
out high.
He feels that he's faster than Tom right now, and he's maybe, there's poor old Max Jones not having a good day at all with the Mustang.
At a point like this, as a driver, he loses his rhythm. How long does it take to get back into sync?
He should be able to do it within 1 lap. He's in a very dangerous position right there because those cars, just prior to seeing Max, coming over the crest of a very light hill. And even though the flaggers are waving and warning that a car has spun in that little valley, they may not know which side of the road to go.
Oh, there he is, and he has not moved, so this may, obviously the yellow right there. But keep in mind, see where that flagman position is? Well out of harm's way as far as he is concerned, but that's not an easy spot to locate as these drivers come through that left-hander.
Oh, certainly. And I think if I were Max, I'd stick the thing into gear and turn it onto the starter motor just by the battery. Move it off the line of the track.
He has a great view of the drivers coming through that turn. And apparently we're going to have the pace car come out, go to a full course yellow, and oddly enough, this is a little later in the race than what Schroeder wanted, a yellow, but had Dorsey been able to stay out the way he was going, this race could have a totally different complexion.
Yeah, I think that there were maybe team orders there, or somebody said, all right, Max, you spin it approximately a lap, something or other.
But
not really.
His teammate's out of the race, so it's a moot subject.
This is terrible. I'm really sorry to see this happen to the team.
Earlier, Bill Adam had a chance to make a comparison between the Trans Am car and the passenger car. When we have a chance under yellow, let's take a look.
The car you're looking at is a Chevrolet Beretta and might be mistaken for a highly modified car you would see on the street. In fact, it is a long way removed. This is a Trans Am car. One of the cars is competing in the manufacturer wars at the Sears Point Trans Am race. A very lightweight car, and although externally it does appear like your street Beretta, it is in fact a great deal different. Let's have a look at one of those major differences now. That's the engine. The engine in this car is also a 6-cylinder like your street Beretta, but a great deal removed. Very exotic fuel injection and careful tuning produce a motor with more than 500 horsepower to play with. The frame that normally you would have in your street car, a large, heavy piece, is gone and replaced by small diameter square wall tubing, something that is both lightweight and stronger than what you would normally run with. And the last area of major difference is a driving compartment. Not the normal luxury you'd find in your street Beretta, but a seat for one person only. Just a driver's seat. Look at the gear shift. There is no luxury in this car. It's designed for one purpose only, and that is to win races. In short, these are funny cars. They look like the car you drive on the street, but specialized $250,000 race cars. The best money can buy.
We remain under yellow. Darrin Brassfield continues to lead. Tommy Kendall, Chris Kniefel, Irv Hoerr, Paul Gentilozzi rounds out the top 5. Tom Gloy rides in 6th. Robert Lapalanian, who was victorious at Phoenix in the season opener, now in the 7th position. Scott Sharp rides in 8th. 9th is Bob Sobey. Jim Derhaag is up to 10th. While we are still under yellow, we'll take this break and come right back.
For years, you've heard me talk about the fine quality of Plastic Coat spray paints. Well, this year, Plastic Coat has asked Indy 500 winner Bobby Rahal to join me. Yeah, and I couldn't be happier. It's nice to finally have someone help me out. I mean, there's so much to say about Plastic Coat spray paints. The quality, the variety, but my favorite features, without a doubt, have to be how well they cover and how long they last.
To tell you about an exciting new way to follow Winston Cup racing, here's Dale Earnhardt.
No matter how tired I am after a Winston Cup race, I always take time for the Winston Cup outline. No matter whether I win or lose, I'm victory lane or I'm talking about what happened, I've got an interesting story to tell. So call Winston Cup Hotline.
10 top drivers every week on Winston Cup Hotline. Call 1-900-446-9287.
And get the news straight from the driver's seat.
Race fans, now you have a chance to fulfill your dream of starting an actual NASCAR race. The Miller Genuine Draft 500, June 17th at the Pocono International Raceway in Pennsylvania. Just by entering the Raceway Sweepstakes, you could be the Grand Marshal for the race. You and a friend will receive an all-expense-paid 4-day trip to the race, and you'll receive $500 in spending money. As Grand Marshal, you'll get a personal tour of the racetrack, including the Winston Cup garage area. And then you get to officially start the race. Are you getting revved up about all this? Good. Here's how to enter.
Hurry and call 1-900-328-2100. Or put your name, address, and phone number on a postcard and mail to the address on your television screen. The deadline for phone calls or a postcard is June 7th. The lucky winner will be selected live on This Week in NASCAR, June 7th. Must be 18 or older, no purchase necessary.
What are you waiting for? Start your own engines and phone in your entry right now.
Welcome back to Sears Point Prime Network with Trans Am competition about to go green with 8 laps remaining, and look at this shootout headed for the first turn. Your leader from the starting flag is Darrin Brassfield, and look at the battle for second. Kniefel stopped, I think, up into second place there. He took Kendall, who tried to out-drag Brassfield, didn't make it. The final 8 laps. Once again, Darrin Brassfield, and then it's Tommy Kendall, and then Chris Kniefel. Kendall really tried a drag strip style start. Your Kniefel has gotten up to second. Kendall drops to third. Now, as we mentioned earlier, Kniefel's strategy was let's wait and see. Let's let the race develop with somebody else setting the pace. I'll wait. Hey, it's working out right now. He has about 7.5 laps to run down and pass the red number 5 of Brassfield.
Well, and now this is the point where you use everything you have. There is no saving the tires. You've got 7 laps to a checkered flag, and you run as hard as you possibly can. What we're seeing here, these fellas appear very smooth, but I guarantee they are right on the edge. At red line when they're shifting gears, you shift as fast as you can, you jump on the brakes.
The fourth red car back there, the fourth car in line is Paul Gentilozzi. On the restart, he got around Irv Hoerr, so Hoerr drops to fifth.
And again, look at the Oldsmobile seemingly stretching out this effortless lead. This is really amazing.
There are the Berettas of Chris Kniefel, Tommy Kendall. There's your leader, the Neolife number 5 of Darrin Brassfield, part of the Paul Gentilozzi Brassfield Racing Stable. Gentilozzi rides in 4th position. 5th is the white Oldsmobile of Irv Hoerr.
And we just saw a car spinning turn 11. I don't know if it was Bob Sobey, 55, and Jack Baldwin, the
Jack Baldwin also involved, and some more damage to Sobey. Sobey had a nice ride going. He was up to 9th position. He's had a rough day at some points.
Yes.
But had a good ride going.
Oh, and here he is.
I think his race is finished right there.
Whoops, it's going to be into the
he lost the
wall.
steering. He could not steer. He kisses the wall. What a tough way to end.
This,
been a good ride.
It's potentially going to bring out the pace car again. This is going to be disastrous for the Beretta team if this happens.
Now, let's see what happens back there coming through the sweeper. And there you can see the aftermath as he and Jack Baldwin got together. Jack spins to a stop as the rest of the drivers make a move evasively to the inside.
Oh, this is terrible. What has happened? Yeah, they're calling for a tow truck out there to get this out of the way. And what has happened is that the bodywork has actually gone underneath the front tire, and that's why he couldn't steer it. There's nothing wrong with the steering rack or the suspension. Just the bodywork made that car a skid plate instead of a car that would steer.
Well, the race continues, and up in front, where he's been all afternoon here in Northern California, is Darrin Brassfield, and there is the gap that begins to widen out between first and second. I think he has him covered.
I think he does too. He seems to be pulling away down that long, twisting section on the back end of this course. Under brake right here, the Berettas do close up a little bit, but I don't think they're in a position to challenge yet. And it looks like Kendall is even trying to go around the outside of his teammate here.
Well, you can see the yellow flags fly, and that is for the Sobey accident to slow them down through turn 12 as they cross the start-finish line. Now he's into turn 1 under the bridge.
This is a fast section here, uphill. Look at this, over the curb, using up every inch of roadway. Now Kendall is back into second place. Knifel's not a third.
Now is not the time to concern, as you said earlier, the tires, the chassis, or the driver himself. It's time to hang it out.
No, this is a position that Tom Kendall does not want. He has a number of second places. He has never finished where Brassfield is sitting right now, and he wants his first Trans Am win. There's great incentive on the line right now for Tom Kendall. Tom is also local. He's from, there's the Bob Sobey car just getting towed out of the way, so this is not going to have a bearing on the outcome of this race at all.
Green remains out. The competition continues. Darrin Brassfield continues to hold at bay the Berettas of Tom Kendall and Chris Kniefel. And right now, Kniefel looks like he's being challenged by Paul Gentilozzi for that third spot.
Gentilozzi closed right up there. Again, these Oldsmobiles just are looking so stable and so strong at this point. Interesting, just the two teams, the Oldsmobile team and the Beretta team. But I think that Kendall is catching him very slightly.
Well, there are 6 laps to go, and if in fact he is starting to close in, let's just ride along right now. Oh, and he kisses the wall. A little slide off the corner, a little billiard shot off the concrete.
There is Darrin overheating his rear tires a little bit.
And as Darrin goes into turn 1, let's ride along with Darrin Brassfield as he leads this Trans Am race at Sears Point. gap closing down between first and second. Bill, realistically, some drivers are faster if they have a rabbit, someone to chase, and right now Kendall has that rabbit.
Well, Kendall's got a rabbit, but he's got this incentive too, that he was walking around, he realizes that a lot of people are aware he hasn't won a Trans Am race, and he's putting a lot of pressure on himself. His family's up here to watch him and cheer him on, and with the brand new car that's working so well, boy, he's got things. In fact, he's even got his girlfriend Caroline from all the way back from Italy just to cheer him on in this race, so you can't ask for more incentive.
Prime Network coverage of Trans Am racing here at Sears Point continues. The number 5 of Darrin Brassfield remains out in front.
The forest is home to many living things. That's why, if you're careless with fire when you go to the forest, you could burn a lot more than trees.
Whether it's running, jumping, or hurdling, Pacific Sports Network gives you extensive coverage of collegiate track and field. You'll see top men and women athletes from the Pac-10, Big 8, Metro, and Southwest conferences as they go the distance in track and field competition. Collegiate Track and Field on Pacific Sports Network.
An F-15 Eagle's 25 tons of thrust powers you to 60,000 feet in seconds. You're at the stick of a deadly Cobra chopper, its lethal tow missiles slamming into enemy tanks. Call now, for these are just some of the thrills awaiting you in this 6-video library. A video collection of over 6 hours of action that puts you in the cockpit of the world's most awesome fighting machines. In Fly Low, Hit Hard, you're in an A-10 Warthog, blasting 2,100 shells a minute into enemy targets. Skim treetops in an RAF Tornado at over 900 miles an hour. Fly a spy mission at Mach 3 in an SR-71 Blackbird. See the most advanced Soviet war machines. Witness official combat footage. Actually see the Libyan MiG shootdown. Call now to order. We'll ship the entire library, all 6 videos, and bill you just $25.75 a month for 6 months.
Call 1-800-344-7400 and receive free this color poster and official footage of the B-2 stealth bomber.
Welcome back to Sears Point on Prime Network. As the final laps unfold, let's check on some late race strategy in the pit area with Bob Baker.
Frank Ressanini, crew chief on Chris Kniefel's car. How's it going in the late stages?
Well, the car seems to be working okay. Chris said that everything's working fine. He's just going to do the best he can.
Are you going to make a pass at the lead here in the final stages?
Well, he's going to try and work his way up to him. If Tommy can't do it, then Chris is going to try and step in.
We are headed down to the final 6 laps. This is a 40-lap event, and it's down to 6 laps, a 2-car shootout right now. But if those two should get together, you have Chris Kniefel right back there, and right behind Chris, you have Paul Gentilozzi.
Oh, this is just tailor-made. You couldn't make the movies any better than this right here. Both these fellas running flat out as hard as they can go, and Kendall is closing a little bit. Look at this, closer, closer, closer. The Beretta is very, very good under braking, but here is where the Oldsmobile's apparent strength is. Accelerating out of this corner, putting the power down, and the high-speed handling down through here. Watch and see if he stretches out a little bit of a lead again.
He's not right now. He's not pulling him that much under acceleration.
But look at this. Once again, he just gets a car length here, a car length there. But high-speed corner right here. This is turn 10, fastest on the track. And then at the end of this straight, there's the 180 where the Beretta's going to close up. Look at this. Right up to the bumper, the Oldsmobile almost. 2 car lengths separating him there. And look at how much tighter Tom is keeping the car coming out of the corner. His tires are definitely fresher than Darrin Brassfield's tires. He did not use up as much track as Darrin did.
We're into turn 1, the uphill grade right now, and we have 6 laps, just under 6 laps to go. Darrin Brassfield leading Tommy Kendall, Chris Kniefel, Paul Gentilozzi, Irv Hoerr, and Tom Gloy. So Gloy in the unsponsored Gloy Sports entry, now up to 6th position. Good look at 2nd place, Tommy Kendall, the 0-1 Olivetti Beretta.
Oh, wonderful battle. These guys are going at it, and yet neither one has made the slightest mistake. Kendall using up a little bit of gravel in some spots, and once again the Skull Bandit goes around.
Jack's had a tough afternoon.
Gee, he's making a habit of this, and I'm sure he's not going to be pleased with himself.
You are so eloquent in describing this, but I know down deep in your heart you'd love to be right out in the middle of that. And look at this. He's going to try him on the outside.
I think he's going to occupy Darrin's mirrors right there. That's what he wants to do, and let him know that, hey, Darrin, I've got good brakes. Now, if he can push Darrin into making a mistake, going deeper into the corner than he actually wants to before he gets on the brakes, he's hoping to get Darrin to lock up those tires and smoke them.
A mind game at 160 miles an hour.
Definitely. Tom knew he could not make a pass in that corner, but he sure wanted to let Darrin see it.
Well, once again, out of acceleration, the Olds has the advantage, but under braking, the Beretta has the advantage. Here they are, turn 11. High line into the corner again by Tommy Kendall.
Because he's under a lot more power coming out. He's hoping to use that late apex to offset the Oldsmobile's acceleration, or seeming acceleration advantage. Very, very close. I think Tom may set him up for a pass at the end of this lap.
We are showing 38 laps now complete. 2 laps to go, the final 2 laps.
Definitely the strength of this Beretta is under the very, very high-speed braking. And the spot he would like to do it at is at the 180-degree turn 11, the one that leads on to the start-finish straight. That's where he'd like to set him up.
But a good driver running second has to become a good student. He's going to school right now on Darrin Brassfield. He's trying to study exactly what he's doing in every corner to see where he can make a move.
Right. Now, here is one spot where potentially Tom would like to do it, but I don't know if he can. Get a bit of a run at the Olds coming off the corner, and certainly in the next braking area, right there. Again, back up alongside, saying, Darrin, I'm over here. Look at this, a little bit of smoke now off that Oldsmobile. That first sign of a tire locking up, there was just a trace. And this
that would be enough abuse right there that on the very next and the last lap, that may be all that Mr. Kendall needs.
Oh, this is a fantastic battle here. But again, look at, the slow car stays out of the way. Great job. Darrin pulls out that 1 or 2 car lengths down through the high-speed S's, and I don't think will give Tom a shot at passing here. Again, a late apex.
Oh, and
Kendall's
again,
on the
he collects the fence.
Very, very late. Now, it looks like they may have a clear track. I don't think traffic's going to get in their way for this lap, so it's just man against man, Oldsmobile versus Beretta.
Oh, look at the slower cars. Weaving in and out of traffic. That could have been the difference right there. Whoa, he had to drive ahead of that race car.
Boy, lovely move by Brassfield. Very, very good.
The final lap. Let's watch and see if Tommy Kendall has anything left in the Beretta or if Brassfield can hold him off.
Kendall has got to try something. Right here, he has to try and set something up. Late apex, turn in, and on the power. Offset that Oldsmobile advantage. He's on it hard, right to the floor. Third, fourth, fifth gear here. All the rest, 8,000 RPM down this back straight. And again, look at the Oldsmobile. Maybe another car length advantage. Kendall has got to try one last move on that tight turn 11 this lap. He's got to go for it.
And at least one slower car, 2 slower cars out in front. This is going to be it right here. Let's take a look. He takes a look on the high side. Oh, he's
now,
not in
late
position right
apex,
now.
turn in and hard on it here. I don't think he's going to do it.
Trap him behind that slower car. Here they come off turn 12, and there is the checkered flag.
Unbelievable.
And about a half car length advantage at the finish for Darrin Brassfield. He let it start to finish, led early by as many as 8 seconds, but he had to hang on the waning laps of this race. Brassfield takes the victory in the Brassfield Gentilozzi entry. Tommy Kendall takes second. Third goes to his teammate, Chris Kniefel. Fourth, Paul Gentilozzi. And fifth went to Irv Hoerr. And there is the checkered flag as we have concluded the second stop on the 25th anniversary season of Trans Am competition through the hills and dales of Sonoma, California, the wine country. And now it's going to be time for the driver of the red number 5 to pop the cork on some vino in Victory Lane. We're coming right back. Stay with us.
Now there's no reason to miss your favorite racing on TV. Racetime magazine each month provides the only complete and accurate TV listings of all motorsports, racing, and special features. Network, cable, or satellite. If it's racing on TV, you'll find it listed in Racetime. Racetime is not available on newsstands, so catch all the racing action by subscribing now. Call 1-800-RACES-TV. That's 1-800-RACES-TV. Why miss another race? Call now.
Yourself in for a 180-mile-per-hour shot at Fittipaldi, Sullivan, Andretti, and let the good times keep rolling with 3 days of the greatest party of the year, the Texaco Havoline Grand Prix of Denver. Grab a seat while you can.
Do you have bad credit or have trouble establishing credit? Have you been turned down for credit cards before? Now you can solve your credit problems with a secured Visa or MasterCard. If you've had problems getting a credit card because of poor credit history, bankruptcy, or no established credit, this is the opportunity for you to receive your own Visa or MasterCard. Join the tens of thousands of other people who improved and established their credit rating. Call the 900 number on your screen, $6 for the call. It's a small price to pay for the opportunity to rebuild your credit. Just pick up the phone and call for your free information and application packet. Be a part of the masses who are making their way back to the world of good credit. Visa and MasterCard mean respectability. Nearly everyone is accepted. Don't be left out. Call the number on your screen now and find out how you too can be on your way to having your own Visa or MasterCard. Do it now.
Well, here's a look at the lap traffic on the last lap. Bill, almost a real problem right there for your leader.
Well, Darrin's foot is on the floor, and watch the car on the right. Look at the smoke off his wheel. He locked the brakes up, giving Brassfield some room, and he didn't have to lift off. Very heads-up move by that driver.
Well, Brassfield, of course, was looking ahead, driving ahead, and saw where he had some slight area. He found the daylight, went on through. Let's go down to Victory Lane. Here's Bob Baker.
Darrin, congratulations on your big win this afternoon.
Well, thank you. You know, it's always great to win in front of all your friends and family, and I want to thank Oldsmobile, Rocket Sports, all the guys. They just did a super job. It made it real easy for me. You know, back-to-back wins here. What can I say? I mean, it looks like I own the track, but Tommy drove a great race, and you know, he was there, but you know, just traffic played my way, and on the last lap, we actually thought we had one more lap to go, so we just got lucky.
John, hardly working.